do they manage the PowerPoints? Because Andrea is busy, he can't manage the PowerPoints. Or should I do it? I can do it.
Maybe I have it.
Okay.
Now I have a look.
La main, genre, on peut le faire, nous, le PowerPoint.
D'accord, je vais vous.
Okay. I have it, but only in PDF, so it could be. Oh no, I have the presentation. So.
Je sais pas si vous avez la dernière, Fabienne.
C'est une bonne question, mais si vous l'avez, allez-y. Hein.
Ouais,
je pense que.
Okay.
Voilà. For Tim, I don't know if you're able to present by yourself and share your screen, or do you want us to do it?
What do you think, Annie?
Yeah, I can do it. Or if you have it available, I mean, Andrea or Fabienne, I wouldn't mind. Whatever works best for you guys.
Okay, maybe it's better if you do it because you go at your rhythm. You change the pictures when you want to, if it's okay for you.
Yeah, let me just check. Do we have admin rights? Can we share the screen and stuff like this?
Yes, you can see. At the bottom, you have.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
A square with a narrow.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Nikki.
Hello, Nikki.
How are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm fine.
It's fine. Nice to see you.
Nice to see
you.
you.
So long time.
Yes, it has been.
So when we have still 1 minute, and I will send you the information. We organized the steering committee of Ecett, Stenka, and Nikki in January, on the 27th of January, and on the 26th, Trampoline, which is an addiction working in addiction in Belgium, organize a very big event, and you're all invited to this event if you want. It concerns the good practices done in therapeutic communities during COVID. So we can share what we did, and for further pandemia like influenza or other pandemia in therapeutic communities specifically. You will have the invitation soon. And we organize at the same place the steering committee on Friday. So it could be very nice to participate to the two events, and you have the possibility to stay one night at the same place. It was Zdenka, the same place as in 19 in Feluy, Manoir du Capitaine, if you remember. Okay. So George, we can start now to present ourselves.
With the presentations.
Okay.
So everyone can present himself. I propose that Jeanne present herself and the names of the residents which are with her.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jeanne. I'm a social worker in TC in France, near Lyon, the association Rainbow. And so I'm with my colleague and some residents of the TC.
That's fine. Thank you.
My name.
Hello.
I'm here to help in English.
My name is Fauzi, resident city.
Okay.
Hi, I'm a resident of city. My name is Anthony.
Okay. Oh la la.
My name is Louis, resident Rambo.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, my name is Maud. I'm social worker.
Yes. Okay.
Hello. My name is Claire. I'm social worker in the Conseil départemental.
Hello.
Thank you. Tim, you can present yourself.
Hi, my name is Tim. I run a charity called Build on Belief in London in the United Kingdom.
Thank you. From Sarajevo, you can give your name?
Yes, I'm Mediha and working in Association Celebrate Recovery. I'm a psychologist and working in our counseling center and daily center for recovery from addictions.
Oh, just a moment, maybe I think someone is maybe translating because we should.
Yes.
At Rimbaud, you are busy with other people to explain because we have the echo, so you can close your microphone. Jeanne?
We suggest that after the presentation of each, everybody shut the microphone.
Yes.
Okay.
If possible, after your presentation.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Can you just repeat the lady from Udruga? Can you just repeat because we didn't understand well?
Yes. Yes, of course. Is there still echo?
No, it's nice.
Okay. Yeah. So my name is Mediha. I'm a psychologist and I work in Association Celebrate Recovery here in Sarajevo, in our counseling center and daily center, in general, working with in the field of recovery from addictions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Annie?
Hi everyone, I'm Annie. I'm originally from Germany, but I'm working together with Tim in UK, in London. Our charity is called Build on Belief. And
Thank you.
It's a nice, beautiful thing. Thanks. It's good to see everyone.
Thank you, Annie. Zdenka?
Hi, good morning again, everybody. Nice to see you. My name is Zdenka. I am from the Czech Republic and I work in an organization that has a therapeutic community, but as well as many other different programs connected to clients who are addicted to drugs or behavior. So we are sitting in the Czech Republic and it's nice to be here. I'm also the help desk for Ecett for the traineeships.
Thank you, Zdenka. Nikki?
Hello, everyone. My name is Nikki. I live in Greece, in Thessaloniki, and I work in Argo, which is a therapeutic program for addicted individuals. We have a non-residential facility and various services for people that come here.
Thank you, Nikki. Martise, welcome. Can you say who you are? We don't hear you. Your microphone is shut.
Okay, sorry. Good morning. My name is Marta Sporch. I work for Caritas and the family unit for drug rehabilitation and of course with the parents.
That's fine. So also for you, if you can introduce your email address in the chat for Fabienne, she will then keep contact with you. So
okay.
My turn, I am George van der Straten. I worked for 40 years in therapeutic communities in Belgium. And now I am retired. And I am the president of the Ecett-Networks Association. So be welcome. Fabienne?
I'm Fabienne. I work as coordinator for Ecett and also I'm the assistant of the manager of Trampoline, which is a therapeutic community in Belgium. Hello to everybody.
Thank you, Fabienne. So I invite Jeanne and her colleagues and residents to start with the presentation of the support for resident parents.
Ok. Alors, j'essaie juste de mettre le PowerPoint du coup. Est-ce que vous voyez le PowerPoint ou pas du tout, Georges?
Au moment, on ne le voit pas. Donc, est-ce que tu as été sur le petit carré avec la flèche?
Ouais.
Après ça, tu dois aller sur intégralité de l'écran.
Attends, je recommence.
Et puis cliquer sur l'image.
Attends, je recommence. Alors, tac, intégralité de l'écran.
Puis il y a l'image de l'écran. Tu cliques sur l'image de l'écran et puis tu fais partager.
Autoriser. Et là, c'est bon?
Voilà, voilà, c'est bon, c'est bon. Maintenant,
Allez.
tu n'as plus qu'à ouvrir ton document.
Ok, affichage diaporama. Ok.
Pour le moment, on ne voit pas encore ton document. C'est comme s'il n'était pas partagé.
Ah bon?
On voit les 9 portraits, mais on ne voit pas encore ton
Attends,
document.
je suis en train de partager. Là, non?
Peut-être bien, attends.
Parce que là, normalement, c'est censé marcher.
Est-ce que tu le vois à l'écran, ton document? Sur
Ouais,
ton écran, toi,
ouais.
oui? Donc,
Ouais,
on
ouais.
devrait l'avoir aussi, normalement.
Sinon, je peux le faire moi.
Je vais aller le chercher, Georges.
Oui, d'accord, Fabienne.
Tu l'as, là? Vous l'avez ou pas?
Ouais, ça
Non.
s'appelle
On
groupe
n'a pas
parents
de
le bon.
document.
Groupe parents le bon, c'est
Non,
ça?
c'est le final.
Non,
C'est
final.
Georges qui l'a.
Ah oui, final groupe parents, je l'ai.
C'est Georges qui doit.
Ok.
Ok, super. Et bah du coup.
Tu peux
attends,
arrêter la présentation.
Arrêter le partage.
Ouais. Ok. Excusez-moi.
Pas de problème.
Ok. Ouais, c'est eux qui vont avoir la main. Donc on verra les autres.
Ok.
Okay. Just before starting, it's important to specify that this presentation in English was a collective challenge.
Yes.
I find it impressive how each individual has taken his up, both professional and resident. Anthony will introduce the subject. Okay. Next slide. Ah. Vas-y.
At the base, this group emanates from a common reflection between educators.
Can you come closer to the microphone? Because we don't hear you very well. You are too far from the microphone. Thank you.
Okay, je recommence. At the base, this group emanates from a common reflection between educators and dependent parents in the community. To set it up, they were accompanied by the institution, and together they had to go and defend it before the departmental council. It's a representation of the values that the community wants to convey, namely sharing, mutual aid, and the experience put at the service of the group to fight addiction together. This group allowed us to share our experience as parents. Indeed, some residents have adult children whose home the link has already been rebuilt, following the same ordeal, and have been able to give their vision of the dependent parents' role and the errors not to be reproduced. It's a sharing group. The role of the oldest residents frees up speech, gives new residents confidence, which allows them to tell their story more easily and often to play down the situation. It's a group that can generate a lot of emotions, which leads to talking about oneself, about one's experience as a parent, about what the situation can bring to life by guaranteeing the confidentiality of exchange, which is very important in order to be able to confide. This group is necessary for struggling addicted parents. It also raised awareness of the importance of giving children time to come back to their parents. Their timing is different from ours. You have to know how to reach out to them and know how to wait for the child to accept the situation, for time to take its course. The child has created a wall to protect himself. Do not go too fast to cross it. Thanks to the help of professionals from outside, this group was also able to help at the legal level, to know how to reconnect gently, to know what's right and the procedure to follow without risking losing all hope of reconnecting. To conclude, the parenting group is a tool that can be used to recreate often broken ties, by accepting that this reconnection can take time. It allows you to put the notion of failure and guilt into perspective, and above all, to accept that the perfect parent does not exist. This is a group that over time has shown its usefulness. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So this 2 years ago, parent residents asked to be accompanied around parenting. From there, we suggest that they establish an assessment of their needs.
Some resident common observation. It's not always easy to have kids while living in the TC. The duration of stay can be 2 years long with the children or with the other parents. Residents' life is often punctuated with the consumption of narcotics. This often leads to family issues. Parental rights are unclear, not established, or not respected. Children are often leitmotif in the idea of parent residence rehabilitation.
So the professional team assessment, the professional team often has difficulties to support the resident's parenthood. Sometimes professionals spot a lack of tools of knowledge. This results in trial and error in the answers of subjectivity in the companion. Working with the family seems inherent to the rehabilitation, the recovery of the resident, but we feel breaks reluctance sometimes. Finally, how can we work on the relationship with us children?
Thank you.
We have identified problematics with personally, history, introspective work, adaptation. How to
The sound is very bad now. Fabienne, we have a problem with the sound. Should we close our videos, our image?
Je sais pas, c'est peut-être leur connexion ou oui, c'est parce que nous aussi on s'entend bien, c'est que c'est leur propre connexion.
It's their connection which makes a problem, it seems. Jeanne, we don't hear absolutely nothing.
I think they should close the video.
Can you try, Jeanne, to close your video and to start again? Well, now we can read in place of listening to them. We can.
Je sais même pas récupérer le chat du coup, moi. Non. Je n'arrive pas à récupérer le chat, peut-être ici. Oui. Où est leur problème? Non. Ils sont sortis en fait. They're out. They disconnect.
Rimbaud is now at the bottom. Yes, we
Okay.
see them.
Voilà, Rimbaud, ça y est. OK. We lost
Internet.
OK. So, à quelle diapositive voulez-vous que je revienne?
About the preposition?
No,
between personal introspective work and verbalization.
Et je sais pas où
Attends, j'essaie de retrouver mon... ce qu'il est. Oui, c'est ça, mais c'était pas celui-là. C'était celui-ci.
Ouais.
OK, this one?
Ouais.
Oui,
non,
this one?
Juste avant.
Just before.
Attends.
Just before? Yes.
That's good, I think.
Again?
Ouais, je refais tout.
C'est bon?
Si, je refais tout.
Next slide.
C'est celle-ci?
Oui, c'est écrit.
Next.
Ouais, c'est écrit. Je reprends là où j'en étais.
Ouais, vas-y.
Alors, du coup, the problematics. We have donc how to broach addictions, how to do some prevention, how to deal with emotion of discontinuing consumption in the parenting relationship, how to deal with feeling of guilt.
About next slide, about the parental position, how to reestablish a link without redeeming it, which place, how to take back a place in spite of the distance, how to reestablish contact with the other parent, how to reassure without promising.
About the knowledge of faces, approach tools. What institution could be important concerning parenting support? How to get organized to see, review, resize their children?
And so, with this assessment, we meet the departmental council. We contact several institution, network, and parenting support association. And we meet the departmental council and the social worker Elizabeth. We find a possibility of pooling our respective skills about parenthood and addiction.
Emergence of possibilities, possibility of a support group in the therapy about parenting support, possibility of a support group about addiction in the conseil départemental, possibility of exchange of good practice and support, accompaniment, mutual knowledge of the addiction network.
And so Elizabeth is not here, but Claire is here, and she will present the Conseil départemental.
France is composed of 95 departments, which are geographical areas, but also communities. The Conseil départemental is one of them and plays a key part in terms of child protection, housing, disability, and all age issues. Indeed, the Conseil départemental finances and deals with child protection and social services of its territory. Each department has a local branch that makes the request for social assistance accessible. The closest town that has tip of antenna is Bois. Thus, social workers can welcome people and help them with administrative, financial, budgetary, and employment matters, but also with child protection. In France, child protection is divided into two areas, prevention and protection. As far as possible, the child remains in the parent's home and support is provided on the basis of the daily life of the family. Similarly, priority is given to administrative support, prevention, and contractual support. If the minor child is in danger within his or her family, a judicial measure can be imposed on the parents and the child can be placed in the child care facility. Elizabeth is a polyvalent educator within the Conseil départemental in the territory of Bois-sur-Lignon, a rural area. Her main mission falls within the framework of child protection prevention. She offers support to families experiencing parenting difficulties thanks to occasional or regular meetings. She also deals with investigations aiming at evaluating the notion of danger for the child within the family. Claire is a social worker in the department. Her mission is to welcome anyone in difficulty in the territory, to inform them of their rights, to support them or direct them to other departmental services. She also takes part in social investigations in the context of child protection. The practices within the Conseil départemental consist mainly in individual receptions and support. It is therefore unusual to set up group or collective actions. Elizabeth and I intervene in the framework of the community therapeutic at the request of the residents. Our main task consists in proceeding to opening of rights so they can access social assistance and in giving advice related to administrative matters. With the educator, we also deal with parenting issues. With Maud and Jan, we are facilitators for a group of residents who need to discuss parenting issues. As a matter of fact, the residents have realized the difficulty of continuing to be parents while they are taken care by the community therapeutic. Geographical distance and sobriety change their view and their investment as parents and raise questions. How do you get back to being a parent? How to talk about care with your children? How to refocus on the interests of the child? As social workers and educators, our role consists in listening to the questions of the residents and to guide them and to share our experience of parenting support.
Yes, it's easier when you can read what is written on the image, because to follow it's easier when you can read at the same time.
Ok. Vas-y. Que c'est plus facile quand on lit ce qui est écrit. Ouais.
Ah oui, parce que moi, j'ai pas.
Non, non. Non, ça. Ah oui. Ouais. Drugs and concerns. For the DC, for the CD, the issue of supergroup facilitation is not a common practice. And there was institutional content, human time, material, etc. For the DC, there is a lack of knowledge of the public in addictology, and for the TC, there was an apprehension of inviting external speakers on intimate issues.
The realization of the project. Support group outlines. Free membership and mixed group open to all residents' parents. 2 hours and the briefing time for the facilitators. Function bring knowledge on different themes and promote the sharing of experience. Measure the evolution of parental relationships. Presentation of the participants and the rules, non-judgment, confidentiality, listening, kindness. Final round table where each speaker expresses what this moment made him live.
This group is every 3 months. So some topics covered for the last 2 years. Clarify the legal context, rights and duties of parenthood, parental authority, legislation, steps to have parental rights, absence of link or distance and new creation of link, tools, mode of communication, posture, context, respect of temporality, the child and the parent, how to address addiction and shared history. I'm not just an addict person. To be a co-parent in the separation, emotions in the relationship, failures, what is it to be a parent, a comfortable place in the parenthood during the treatment, link addiction and parenthood, children in the rightful place, reconciliation linked to the family climate.
Okay. Assessment and surprise. Extraordinary ability to speak about intimacy, parenthood, difficulties in the group despite the presence of outsiders, by the configuration of this group, size, rules, permanence of the speakers, and the work of verbalization engaged in city. Impact in the real life, individually, support between parents outside the group. This frees up speech in general in city urban parenting, individual, sustainable and transferable resources. Et voilà.
And so we see some evolutions since years in the support, increasingly important echoing work that results in more exchanges and sharing of experiences. We come out of a single personal presentation that does not expect a response. Group used less as an emotional discharge space and more is an analysis situation. Peer support work that continues outside the group in the TC. More and more links between groups.
Individually and personally. Reconnection, telephone and physical. Legal procedures started. Take confidence in parental procedure. The CD is seen as a resource that can be used individually even at a distance from the stay, transferability. Knowledge of parental rights and duties, child development, knowledge of resource states, mediation, etc. Better communication with the co-parents, ease of discussion their parental situation outside the group.
And so, possible imagined or implemented residents benefited from individual interviews with Claire and during or after their treatment in the TC, Claire and Elizabeth. Possibility of home visits if children are there in the TC or in the TC or therapeutic apartment. Possibilities, hand over with a social worker from another departmental.
Institutional developments swarming. Formalization of a partnership agreement between the TC and the DC with presentation to the steering committee of the DC. Facilitated an interinstitutional communication, exchange of good practices, knowledge of issues and actors in the territory. Intervention of city professionals in dedicated groups to CD addiction. Project of a discussion group within the CD on addiction with the presence of residents of former residents co-facilitation. Visits of children of residents to the TC and position of the team around parent food more comfortable possible resource with the CD.
Sorry for our English. So sorry.
No problem. That's a good exercise. Yes. Jeanne, is it now the end of your presentation?
Yeah.
Okay. So there are some questions. Participants can put the questions in the chat, or you can make a sign, raise your hand, and you can ask it directly. In the chat, there is a question of me, which is, do the children visit sometimes their parents in the TC?
Alors, est-ce que quelqu'un veut répondre? Est-ce que les résidents reçoivent leurs enfants à la communauté? Tu veux répondre? Okay. Yes. Yes. Tu veux dire quoi? Quelqu'un veut répondre?
Non, mais en français.
En français, oui, il y a des parents. Oui, il y a les enfants qui peuvent visiter leurs parents, mais il faut que ce soit prévenu à l'avance, en fait, que ce soit encadré et que ce soit préparé, en fait, voilà, pour que tout se déroule au mieux, quoi. Et on peut parler des difficultés qu'ils peuvent rencontrer avant, mettre en place le meilleur cadre possible pour que les enfants puissent profiter des parents sans qu'il y ait de problème, en fait.
Yes, so the children can come to visit their parents in the TC, but it has to be prepared with the staff members to
And the group.
and the group. Can they spend a weekend? Can they sleep in the TC, for example?
Not in the TC, but in we have in the next town an apartment.
Yes.
They can't sleep in the apartment with their parents.
Okay, thank you. And do you use, for example, the video conference to have contacts between children and parents?
Est-ce que ça se fait ça? Est-ce que vous utilisez la vidéo pour
Oui.
Oui, ça se fait.
Yes, it's something that happens by WhatsApp and by Wi.
Okay. Fine.
We get our phones at 6 o'clock, and we can call everyone. So that's how the contact is made.
And do the staff, is the staff present during the visits of the children, or does the staff let the parents with the children?
It depends of the needs.
Oh yes. Okay. Thank you. Are there other questions? So if there are no other questions, I can say, well, thanks very much, and congratulations for the courage, because it was not easy to do it in English. You did it. It's good, and we will do it. Maybe we can also do it once in French. If we have the possibility, we will do it also in French. Thank you. And the video conference and the PowerPoint of Rimbaud will be registered on the e-learning platform, so you can have the PowerPoint of Rimbaud. And Fabienne, maybe we can put the link in the chat. We don't hear you.
Okay, the link for the platform is on the chat. So you connect with your account or you create an account.
Okay.
When you're connected, you find Ecett Academy good-based webinars, good practice-based learning webinars. You choose this course and you will find all the registration of all the webinars you're interested in.
Okay.
Thank you, Fabienne.
If you have difficulties to connect to the platform, please contact me. As or contact ecett.eu.
Voilà, thank you. So thank you very much to Rimbaud for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
We will now have a presentation by Tim about Bob. Bob is an association in London that I have met last week when I was in London. And they are doing something very, very original and interesting. Bob, I give you the floor.
Thank you very much. Annie, do you want to pop the slides up?
Yes, so I will pop up the slides, the PowerPoint, but it would be definitely better to listen to what Tim says, because we just put some facts on the PowerPoint, but it's more interesting just to, close your eyes and follow whatever he tells you about Bob.
Okay, then,
in a second.
Bob, can you speak slowly, because you have seen we are not all very good in English, so if you can speak slowly, that's fine.
I've written something that is short. so that I can speak very slowly. I quite understand. Okay, my name is Tim. I'm the Chief Executive of Build on Belief, which is a peer-led charity in London. Having spent 25 years addicted to heroin, I feel quite confident in stating that I understand both addiction and recovery in my bones. So, what does Build on Belief, we call it Bob, actually do? Our core business, we run peer-led weekend services. We have an online program of 35 activities a week. We are running a peer-led recovery support and coaching program. What do these three things have in common? None of them involve therapeutic interventions. We do not do any therapeutic work. All of them are socially based. They're built around a range of activities, from badminton clubs to gardening groups, from music workshops to mindfulness classes, from yoga sessions to art groups, from table tennis competitions to cookery classes. So, if that is what we do, why do we do it? What is the end result of most addiction? Isolation, loneliness, a world empty of other people. Human beings need human beings, unless you are a monk or a psychopath. So we see a major part of our role as providing social connectivity, helping people to create a new network of friends in a safe and supportive environment. Recovery from a substance use disorder is about more than managing or ceasing your substance use. It is about time. William White, the American academic, said that a treatment journey is 2 years, and sustained recovery often needs 5 years. Our job is quite simple. We provide communities based around activity. You can use them for as long as you like. There is no end point. They are free to access. There is no cost. They follow no model of recovery. We advocate for everything, from total abstinence from all mind-altering substances to medicalized recovery, and every shade of grey in between. Simply put, we couldn't agree on a definition of what recovery meant, so we chose to consider all definitions to be valid and the choice of the individual undertaking the journey. Our role is to share our knowledge and personal experience of recovery and support each person we work with, talk to do the same thing for themselves. You do not need an appointment or referral to come to our services. You just walk in the door. Most importantly, they are behavior based. You can access under the influence of drugs and alcohol up to a point if you can behave in a friendly and non-judgmental manner. Therefore, everybody who comes to one of our weekend services signs a contract, a behavioral contract. That contract says they won't use drugs and alcohol on the premises. It says they won't use offensive language. It says they won't use non-judgmental language. It says they will treat people with respect. All the time they can follow these rules, they can access, irrespective of where they are on the arc of their substance use disorder. So our services are for everyone. We have people coming in at the weekend who would benefit from therapeutic help but do not access it. We have a lot of people who were already in structured treatment elsewhere, and then we have a group of people who identify it purely as being in recovery. So, let's talk a little bit about partnership. We own or rent no buildings, except for our head office. Instead, we subcontract, we sell our services to the major drug and alcohol treatment providers in London, and we use their buildings when their buildings are empty, mainly at the evenings and at the weekends. So What are the advantages of such a partnership? Firstly, they are very, very cost effective. Essentially, our costs are staffing, food, and bits and pieces of equipment. We have no on costs, so our staffing is very cheap. Our services are very cheap. Clients, service users, have access to a support service 7 days a week wherever we work, because they have the main provider during the week and they have us sometimes in the evenings and always at the weekend. It's very easy for people to find us because they access the same premises during the week for their therapeutic work. We act as a honeypot. We're able to refer people into structured treatment at the weekend when necessary. When you come to a Bob service, we only ask you 2 questions. What is your name and what is your postcode? You don't have to give us any more information than that. So we often get people coming in real crisis who, for whatever reason, don't want to access a structured treatment service. And we can work to support them to do that by allowing them the space to engage with us at their own speed. We have a direct link with each service provider for many of our clients if we have concerns for their welfare or safeguarding concerns. So we share information between us, Bob, and between the providers we're working with. It also allows the main service provider to refer people to us at the weekend if they want support. So the partnership working between the 2 organisations in each location is very, very important. And of course, we have an information sharing agreement between their organisation and our organisation to ensure our mutual clients get the best care possible. There is, of course, another partnership that is equally as important, and that is the partnership with our volunteers and our clients. We have a very unusual volunteering model. You can volunteer with us while you are in structured treatment, providing you are not under the influence of non-prescribed medication or alcohol on the day you volunteer. If you are still struggling with your substance use around that day, we will try and get you support, but it doesn't matter. As long as when you come in to volunteer, you are not under the influence, you can volunteer. And the only other rule we have is that you are not a danger to the people around you. This means that in many instances, clients and volunteers are the same people. They may volunteer on a Saturday, but access as a client on a Sunday. Because we are running open access drug and alcohol treatment services, we wrote a lot of training, which we deliver to our volunteer teams. All the stuff you would expect: boundaries and confidentiality, communication skills, how to deal with difficult behavior, safeguarding. We also have workshops on heroin, on crack, on cannabis, on novel psychoactive substances. Our training is deliberately not accredited. It is scenario based. There is no written work. There's no need to undertake formal qualifications. It is designed for people who find formal learning difficult. It is designed for people for whom English isn't their first language. In my home borough, and I live in West London, last time they looked, I think there was 137 different languages spoken in the area I live in. So we're quite conscious of this with our kind of clients. These people, these volunteers, these clients help to design their own service. It is they that choose the activities we offer. If they want a food bank, we try and set one up. If they want to play table tennis, we will look for the equipment. Our only constraints are finance, space, and safety. Volunteers choose their own role. This is really, really important. We don't, what's the word I'm looking at? Our requirement of volunteers is quite minimal. We allow them to fit themselves into the organisation, not the other way around. If somebody just wants to make tea and coffee, that's fine. If they want to run an art class or a chess club, then that is what they do. It is a community where people are free to use their own skills or interests for the benefit of a wider group of people. And we work very hard with people who struggle with social connection. We will find a role for anybody who wants one, because we believe in the power of meaningful activity. People need to feel there is something useful in their life. There is something useful they're doing. If their capacity is limited because of their mental health, because of their physical health, because of their substance use disorder, we will still find something for them to do. We have a woman in one of our services who struggles to be around other people at all, who finds communication very, very difficult. But we could find a role for her in helping to look after the garden, a tiny little garden here, so she feels as if she's part of the community and she has something useful to do. So where am I? Completely lost my spot there. Okay, yeah. What we do is we role model the possibility of change. We use our own lives and experiences to encourage others to improve their health and well-being. We encourage people to address their substance use, but we recognize that is a free choice. So, for example, I might discuss my own experiences of residential rehabilitation with someone who's thinking of doing the same thing. I might discuss my perceptions of the benefits of having been in residential rehabilitation, along with some of the things I found challenging but ultimately worthwhile. I might use my experience to help them make an informed choice. So there you go, lovely people. That's Bob in a nutshell. I hope that made sense.
Thanks very much, Tim. That's wonderful. So I had a question. Sorry, yes, it's you hear me. I had a question about, are all the volunteers people in recovery, or are there also other citizens?
That's a good question. I would say 95% are people who have or have had a substance use problem, but there are a small group from the community.
Okay.
So I like the idea of having some people from the community to volunteer, because it gives us a wider lens to look at things. Essentially, anyone who wants to volunteer can volunteer.
Okay.
Providing you're not a danger to someone else and you're not under the influence, you can volunteer.
Thanks. I see another question from Zdenka. Do you have government funding?
No, we don't. We have local authority funding in one instance, which is, I guess, I don't know how it works in other parts of Europe, but like from your local city. Mostly what we do is we will go to the big providers of drug and alcohol treatment services when services are being commissioned, and we will say to them, do you want to buy a weekend service? And then we charge them, this is how much it costs. So no, we don't. We subcontract our services to much bigger organizations.
Okay. And the second question is, do you do any monitoring and evaluation of your program?
Yes, on our website, there are a couple of impact evaluations. They're very challenging for us to do because we're a very small organization. But we're undertaking one right as I speak. The report's being written. So we've literally just interviewed, I think, 130 people, and we're just writing up the report. So we're working with a university in East London at the moment to try and identify why people come to Bob. What is it about what we do at the weekend that is so valuable to them? So very slowly, we're trying to build up some evidence. But we don't monitor outcomes in the traditional sense.
Thanks.
Fabian, if you click on news and events, sorry, because you just show the website here. Yeah, and then our impact. And then the data. So here you have, if you scroll down, there are some past reports around, evaluation surveys. So if you scroll down a little bit, now it's a trust report, go back.
But there is stuff on the website if you want to have a look.
Yeah, if you just scroll down a little bit here on this page, yeah, scroll down. There we go.
Here you go. Here you go. 1, 2, 3.
So there is some data if someone wants to look it up.
Thanks, Annie. I have another question from the girl from Sarajevo. Do you also offer structured therapeutic services, or you make some kind of referral? Do you offer a program or individual plan of recovery?
Good question. No, we don't do any therapeutic work. None.
Mhm.
There's a very big and very expensive treatment system in the United Kingdom that do that. So we refer people to them. We do not do therapeutic work. We are just building and testing a recovery support program where we are looking at people who have finished treatment, are right at the end of their treatment journey and looking for something to do, where we hope to support people around using mutual aid, around physical activity, around healthy eating, around nutrition, around employment. And we're looking at maybe doing some one-to-one support work there. But the way we view Build on Belief, we see our role to do all the things the treatment system doesn't do, but not to do anything that the treatment system does do, because there's a very big treatment system out there already doing it. So if you think of a wall, we see ourselves as being cement around the bricks.
Wow. Wow, that's fine.
But we're not the bricks.
Yes, but you are really complementary. And what you do has a therapeutic effect. Even if it is not a therapeutic method, it has a therapeutic effect.
That's a good observation, George. We did some work previously with the University of East London. And one of the things they said was, it's very interesting. You create a therapeutic space with no therapy in it. You kind of got the space, but you don't do the kind of therapeutic work.
That's great. Annie, do you want to add something? I don't see any more Annie. We have, no, I see her.
No, sorry, yeah, there are like no more questions. I think Tim covered most of it, but you have our contact details, so please feel free to get in touch with us. We are happy to answer all your questions anytime.
Fine, fine.
And if you ever come to London, we'll show you around.
Sure. And are there feedbacks from the participants? I see we have a new participant who is Delphine Vigny from Belgium. But all of you, if you have a feedback to give to Annie and to Tim, it's welcome.
Maybe George, if I may. That was very interesting. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Tim. It's very unusual approach, at least in my environment in the Czech Republic. We, in general, struggle with the motivation and the longevity or sustainability of these programs. So it's quite amazing to see that it can work. We have observed that these volunteer programs are a little bit more successful in communities where volunteerism is more grounded and rooted, which is not in our community. So it's always very interesting. So it was very interesting. I just wanted to say thank you.
You're welcome.
I wanted also to ask how many people have a salary to care on Bob?
Okay, so there are 28
27
staff who have a salary. How many?
27
staff
now.
have a salary. There's probably somewhere between 130 and 150 volunteers. And probably somewhere between 1,000 and 1,800 clients.
And those who have a salary are full-time or part-time?
Half and half.
Half and half. And this is paid by the district?
No, this is paid by the people we subcontract to. So essentially, I will ask somebody, would you like to buy a weekend service and an online program? They say yes. I might say, okay, that will be €100,000 a year. We signed a contract for 3 to 5 years.
Wow.
And then the salaries are paid out of that money.
Wow. Okay.
But George, you're right. So it's kind of, yeah, a district or borough related. So because London is such a big city, you have different boroughs. So we have different services in different boroughs, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
there are 33 local authorities in London.
Okay. Well, are there other questions or feedbacks? So if there are no more questions, I just want to thank very much as well of Rimbaud and for what you have shared today. In the bulletin of Ecett, but maybe it will be next year. Tim, did you have a written support for your presentation or not?
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah, would you like it?
Yes. So that will be very, very fun.
Okay, I'll ping it to Annie, and Annie can ping it to you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. So, Fabienne, we can close now by saying hello to everybody, or do you have something else?